All right, hello and welcome to Craven Some Raven. You know what, guys? I thought I stopped my craving by having some Raven yesterday. It just wasn't enough. I'm a fucking crackhead. Anyways, in today's episode, we're gonna be talking about the Ravens' unrestricted free agents, specifically the unrestricted free agents, not the RFAs and the ERFAs. I don't even know what that stands for. Just restricted free agents, I guess, and then ERFAs are restricted free agents. I don't know what the E stands for. But we're just gonna stick to the UFAs. I kind of list them, talk about them, each case, whether we keep them, whether we let them go, all that fun stuff. But first, I got a new sponsor, baby. We out here hustling, making money. And today's episode, it's sponsored by Rent-A-Granny. Tired of being hungry and having to go to the old folks' home to receive the love and attention you want from your grandmother? Do you crave that overbearing attention that she gives? Well, it's your lucky day because today, my listeners get a buy one, get one free granny with offer code Agnes. Yes, you heard that right, folks. For the price of a one-way ticket to Florida, you can have double the grandma time for the same energy it takes to send a thank you call for that $7 she sent for your birthday. With Rent-A-Granny, you'll never have to feel guilty for forgetting about your almost dead loved ones. Ooh, harsh. Each granny is grass-fed and cage-free to give you the most authentic experience. Every grandma has been tested by the FDA and received a top crash test rating. Call or speak through your Alexa to get your guilt-free granny today. Once again, use offer code Agnes to receive that buy one, get one free grandma. All right. I don't know what to say about that. So you just rent a granny? Why? Hey man, if they want to give me money to have them sponsor this, that's awesome. But I just don't get it. You call a grandmother and she like pinches your cheeks and doesn't give you her cookie recipe? Whatever. Shout out to all the grandmas out there. But like I said, we got a show to get to. I'm talking UFAs, baby. And no, not aliens. Unrestricted free agents. Not unidentified flying aliens. Which are basically what birds are. Like, if you've never seen a bird before, like if there were no birds on Earth, and then out of nowhere, a raven comes, you'd be like, motherfucking flying aliens out here. This ain't good. We about to die. Motherfucking birds, yo. Alright, fish of the sky. Anyways, I'm just going to list these guys out, right out of the gate. And it goes, I was using spottrack.com. I guess they kind of list all the different teams and what people are making contract-wise and when their deals are up and all that jazz. So I'm using their website. So they have listed from making most to least currently. It goes Terrell Suggs, John Brown, C.J. Mosley, RG3, Max Williams, Brent Urban, Ty Montgomery, Zadarius Smith, Buck Allen, and Nick Boyle. I count them out. That's 10 total UFAs. That's a lot. That's a lot to kind of keep track. There's a lot of moving parts for one season. You can't pay everybody. I really wish you could. I mean, production wasn't there for all of them. But I'm going to kind of break down each one of these guys individually, starting from the top. I'm going to talk about Terrell Suggs, T-Sizzle, baby. A Ring of Honor, Hall of Fame, I believe career. Some people believe he's not going to be first ballot, but I think he will be. He's been such a huge impact for so long. But he's making $5,175,000 a year, according to this. Now, at that number, maybe keep him 1 year on that number. But what I think, if you wanna keep him, you're gonna have to bring that number down. Maybe sign him to like a 2 or 3 year deal, worth I don't know, like $3 million a year. Lay it with incentives like, hey, you get 8 sacks, you'll get an extra $2 million, or you get 10 sacks, make an extra $2 million, make it to the playoffs, extra $1 million. Kind of like that Eric Weddle deal, where he gets money for the team experience is good. I don't think incentives. I'm not too sure if they go against the cap or not. I don't think they do. That's kind of why we didn't get a compensatory pick for Mike Wallace this year, because the way what I heard, that the Eagles, the way they set up his contract, it was all incentives, but like super easy incentives, like, hey, if you do 10 jumping jacks, you'll receive $5 million. Some shit like that. Or you get 10 catches in the season, you'll get your contract. So, and that made it so the Ravens, because in the compensatory pick formula, they like to, how much the player got paid or is getting paid by the new team. They use that, but they take that from the cap number, not from incentives, I don't think. That's just a guess, and I don't actually know. So I could be just lying to you guys, but don't look it up. Just take my word for it. So Terrell Suggs, keep him if you can bring that number down by like $2 million a year, but cut him otherwise, which kind of sucks. It's harsh. It's a rough league because he's been here his whole career. He's one of the faces of Baltimore. I don't want to see him in another uniform. But if Terrell Suggs is gonna say, hey, I deserve more money. I deserve $5 million a year. I mean, normally when outside linebackers are making like 15 million a year, like a good one, he's not upper tier, but I mean, $5 million position wise, it's not that much. But if they want to get greedy and kind of talk minutia, if you want to have more money to keep some other people, you're gonna have to bring that number down, because this is supposed to be a very good defensive line class in the draft. So why not just draft somebody? Make it a whole lot easier. So I would like them. Final say. I want them to keep Terrell Suggs. All right, next we have John Brown on the list. Obviously, his production dropped down once Lamar took over, and it says here he's making just a clean $5 million a year, and that was just for that 1 year. He wanted that prove it contract where, hey, if I produce this 1 year, I'm gonna end up getting paid by someone else no matter what. He did. He started. It was looking that way. Like, hey, we got a steal. But then his production just dipped because Lamar didn't throw to him. And he ain't worth $5 million. I'd rather them draft 1,000 wide receivers. Or draft I don't know how many picks we have this year. Maybe like 8 or like 6. I'd just draft a receiver each round. Each one of your picks, draft a receiver. I don't care. Get John Brown out. And I wasn't too keen on like the way he talked. He seemed like he just didn't want to play. Yeah, he seemed like he just wasn't about it. So I get him out. You're gone. Goodbye, John Brown. All right, and next we have the one, the only, half man, half amazing, C.J. Mosley. and he's sitting at a cap or at a contract $2,197,001. Yes, there's a one. Just did they really? Did they really argue over that? I bet they did. I bet shit was going down in the contract negotiations. Like, no, 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 $2,197,001, or I ain't playing. Hmm? And that's really low for what he's worth. He's definitely worth more than that. He's definitely worth at least 10 mil a year. Uh, but to keep him, I think you're gonna have to pay 12 mil a year. 12 million a year for an inside linebacker. That's top three money. I don't know what Luke Kuechly's making, or Anthony Barr, like some of these other top inside linebackers. Like, is that position even worth that much? Like, that's more of a philosophical question. What does he mean to the team? I think you have to keep CJ Mosley. It would. You're not gonna get the same production from anyone else. I know Kenny Young, he played nice at times last year before he hit that rookie wall. Peanut was off the charts, but CJ Mosley, he's a leader. He's been to Pro Bowls, even though Pro Bowls really aren't that important. They're kind of bullshit because it's just a popularity contest, and he's pretty popular, I guess. But he's been a leader on the team, and I think it'll not signing him would do more damage by saying what you think about the players. Like when the other young players who are getting ready for contracts said, listen, CJ Mosley did everything he could, and he likes the team. He wants to stay here. At least that's what it seems like. And the Ravens just didn't want to pay him. With Joe Flacco's contract already gone, I think you go out and pay CJ Mosley. They already paid Tavon Young. I think now you get CJ Mosley. That with those two guys, you have now shored up the middle of the defense with CJ Mosley and the middle of the secondary with Tavon Young. So I think you have to sign him. Now if he hits the market and someone's willing to pay like 15, no. If the Ravens keep him, I wish it's that 10 to 13 million a year range. Anything more than that, that's a little bit too rich. That's Whole Foods money, man. I can't buy there. I'm more of a Smith's guy myself, or for you Marylanders, like a Safeway or a Giant. Keep it discount. Terrell Suggs asking for like Wegmans money. CJ Mosley, he's asking for that Whole Foods, that Jeff Bezos. Might be too rich, but I'd like to keep him. So next, RG3, or as he likes to be referred to, Robert Griffin, the third. He's making 1.1 mil, 1,100,000. I know he wants to start, but I don't know what team he would start for. If the Jags get crazy, maybe they'll make a play for him. But I hope the Ravens re-sign him. Sign him to like a 3-year deal, maybe worth like 2-3 million. That's good money for a backup. But I think you're gonna have, that's the number it's gonna take to keep him, I think. Unless someone starts calling. But I don't know who would do that. He sat out a whole year. So people obviously didn't believe in him then. Why would they believe in him now? Now he is 29 years old, but QBs play forever. And honestly, athletics and nutrition got to the point where I think if you're good, any player could play at any position until they're 35. I mean, look at Terrell Suggs. He's 36 and still playing, and he's playing in one of the most demanding positions. I think O-line might be a little bit tougher, but they still play forever. Because strength, you can't coach that. So be quick on him. Robert Griffin, keep. Keep. If you can stay in and around that number. Yeah, like every single one of these is depending on the number, but I kind of want to talk about what that number is. So next on the list is Max Williams, and he currently is making $1,013,185 a year. Good old schmackaroos. I'd like to keep him. Nothing crazy about him, but in the way the offense is kind of going, it's moving towards with Lamar Jackson. They need 4 tight ends. They need the 4 guys. And if you can just shore up 2 of those, because 2 of them are unrestricted free agents. So I'm going to be talking about both of them, but Nick Boyle is on the bottom of the list money-wise. That's just because of the way they were drafted. Max Williams was a second-round pick, so he just automatically made more money. I think if you could stay around that number, I don't see why he would, maybe like $2 million, bump it up $1 million, as like a, hey, thanks for being there for us, buddy. Here's a $1 million extra a year. I think both of these guys, just give them $2 million a year. So $4 million a year to shore up the tight end position, because there's always going to be injuries, and we have the 2 current rookies, or now be sophomore year 2, and I think you need all of them. You need to bring all of them back. Maybe you go and draft somebody, but I'd rather them just keep these guys. Thirsty. Ooh. So Max Williams, keep. He's not going to be expensive, because who's going to pay for him? And then next we have Brent Urban. He is making $1 million a year, and he signed that contract. Didn't we sign him? Like for 1 year or something? I don't know why, because this is like the first year he wasn't injured, and that's kind of why they gave him a 1 year contract. I believe, nothing special about him. Why pay $1 million for someone like that when we have Zach Seiler, who, last year he was like the last pick for the Ravens, and he sat on the bench all year. I don't know why, because like before the season started, there were reports saying, "Oh, he's the strongest guy in the Ravens locker room." Okay, awesome. Put him out on the field. Brent Urban doesn't do anything flashy. I don't really care. If you want to keep Brent Urban at $1 million, cool, whatever. But I'd say you just get younger and hopefully healthier, and maybe get someone in the draft who could probably have more production than he did for way less money. So, you know what? I'm just gonna say, go ahead and walk Brent Urban. I know you're a nice guy. You're a fucking shifty Canadian. Which brings me to my next point. We need to build that wall. But I'm not talking down south. I'm talking up north. We need to watch out for the fucking Canadians. They're shifty, man. Can't be trusted. They're like maple syrup a little bit too much there. Alright, buddy? Let's build that wall. Keep all the Brent Urbans of the world out of America. Just kidding. Borders are bullshit. They're fake lines in the sand. So next on the list, we have Ty Montgomery. He's only making $737,199 a year, which that ain't much. I would rather see them get a running back in the draft, get even younger. We already have like one of the youngest backfields, I feel. But I think, that position, just get younger, get new people, get someone who's a little bit more shifty. And I do like his receiving ability out of the backfield. Maybe just keep him. Yeah, you know what? Keep him at that number. But if he wants any more than that, you go ahead and take a hike, buddy. There you go, Ty. Nice name. 2-letter, have an ass. Ty Montgomery. Whatever. He's chill though. He's good in the open field, but it's just getting to the open field. Marty Morningway didn't really seem to scheme him up or send him passes out of the flat that left him open too often. He's a good receiver and good in space because he was a wide receiver, but he was never in space because I think that was scheme. He does all good old Marty Morningwig. Yeah, morning ho wig. Anyways, I'll do another episode about Marty Morningwig and then Greg Roman and switch. So bye Ty. Next on the list this is a big one. Zadarius Smith. He's only making $690,788 a year, according to this. That's nothing for what he was worth, what he was giving us. I think if you want to pay $10 million a year, you can keep him. Like, that's the number I would keep him at because of all the QB hits and the disruption you got from him, especially last year. But were those numbers inflated because that was a contract year. A lot of players when the money's due, they somehow get way better. Like, ooh, what do you know? And then they price themselves, especially on the Ravens, pass rush wise, price themselves out. I think this is just another case. And then there are reports that he dumped his like Instagram or like his Twitter or something, his social media. Like, it used to talk about Ravens and this and that, playing for the Ravens, and now all of that's gone. So either it's just they're moving around their social media, because him and Alex Collins both did this, but Alex Collins is not an unrestricted free agent, but I don't think he's going to be back. But we're talking Zadarius Smith. He dumped all his social media that's Ravens related. I think that's a sign he's probably going to be out. And I think he did price himself out. And I don't want them to keep him I don't want them to overreach on Zadarius Smith, because he was someone. Yeah, I don't like that. Like, when a player out or has way more production the year when the money's due, that just tells me that they're not in it. Like, they're all about the money. They're not in it for the team, for the organization. Which, I mean, really all of them are just doing it for money and for the love of the game. But it really just tells me that this player, like, oh, now that money is involved, ooh, I gotta play harder. It's like, so you're telling me you could have had this production before? Anyways, so sorry, Zadarius. I like you as a player. I want them to keep you, but you're gonna be too expensive. You're a high dollar hoe. You ain't none of these dollar girls. You be twerking for millions, not 20s. And next, we got Buck Allen. I mean, he's making $688,000, and yeah, that's what he's making. And hey, it's not expensive. Do you want to pay him $1 million, like an extra $400,000, just as like a camp body? Because I think that's what he is at this point. I'm hoping the Ravens kind of draft a running back. Buck Allen, he was never special at anything. He was just kind of like consistent. He seemed kind of like slow on the field, almost, like, looking at him. But he, at least in the beginning of the year, he just made plays. Or at least, like, he always fought to get the first down, which is awesome. Bring him back if you can keep that number low. But other than that, just get a rookie. So Javorius Allen, you gone. I think. Maybe he'll be on the practice squad somewhere. Or maybe he seems like an AAF kind of player. Like, he'll be in the AAF, in the Alliance next year. And then last but not least, we kind of already touched on him before, Nick Boyle. Gross name, Boyles are gross. But Nick Boyle, keep him. Bump him to $2 million, like I said about Max Williams. He's making $611,564. It's jump change. He's a great blocker. We need him. We need to keep him and Max Williams, because I don't want the Ravens to have to draft a tight end or pick someone else up. Keep these guys together. Just pay your homegrown. But because he's not going to command crazy money. He hasn't even scored a touchdown yet. So let's be honest, $2 million a year, that's pretty good for a decent blocker. Ooh, did you hear that? It's my neck. Oh, buddy, don't fuck with me. It's going down. Yeah, so you got to keep Nick Boyle. So out of this whole list, I had keep Terrell Suggs if he's willing to drop money. Sign back C.J. Mosley, because you have to. Robert Griffin III. Max Williams. And Nick Boyle. There's someone I was on the fence about. But I'm just going to stick to these four guys. And then, iffy on Terrell Suggs. He's the only one I'm iffy on. Everybody else, it's kind of like C.J. Mosley, got to sign. Robert Griffin, got to sign. Max Williams, Nick Boyle, I think you got to sign those guys. But when it comes to John Brown, Brent Urban, Tim Montgomery, Zadarius Smith, Buck Allen, you can just go ahead and let them walk. But when it comes to the two running backs, bringing them back, if they want to stay just as cheap as they are, they're just going to be a camp body. And I don't think they'll end up being on the team. Because we still have Alex Collins. If we want to have him be a camp body, which I think he will be, because, he had his one-hit wonder year, which I'm not surprised by. But, oh well. Bring in some rookies. And then, I think I'm going to, in next episode, I'll talk about, drafting kind of, maybe draft philosophy. And then, because it is draft season, the Underwear Olympics is coming around soon. The Combine, I think, is next week, as of today. And then I think I'm going to start really going heavy into the draft, kind of breaking down position by position. Doing centers, guard, or O-line. And then, wide receiver, running back. I think on different episodes, and I think kind of what I'm going to do is I'll list who I think the best guys will be, and then maybe also who I think will be best for the Ravens. So someone you get in the 5th round may be better than someone you get in the 1st round. For example, DK Metcalf. Yeah, awesome. He looks like a great wide receiver if he's on the field, which is why he wouldn't be on my best for the Ravens list. He'll be number 1 in total wide receiverness. But I'm going to save that for some other episodes. Do that a little bit later. I'm trying to just crank a bunch of these out, just so if someone discovers them, they can just kind of listen to a bunch of them. Then I'll just have content. Because I could really talk about this shit forever. Maybe I'll finally get a real sponsor. I mean, the sponsors I've had are definitely real. Don't get me wrong. You can totally rent a granny. It's a real thing. Let's see what else. So, if you have any questions, you're a fan, you want to comment, you want to tell me I'm awesome, you can email me at... One second, buddy. At csrpod@gmail.com. Spelled out csrpod@gmail.com. And you can send me a question and I'll answer. I'll probably even answer it on a podcast. Get your name out there. Be cool. Some recognition. That's what's up. Or if you really like this and you're rich and you just got money to blow, hit me up on Venmo. Just donate some money. Eventually I'd like to have a microphone. but microphones are expensive. So you know what? You'd be sponsoring me. So hit me up on Venmo at Stephen-Owings-1. Now, I spell my name with a PH, so I'm just going to spell it out. STEPHEN OWINGS-1. Send me some money, baby. That's what's up. All right. Thank you. Have a awesome life. Live long and prosper, and go fuck yourself. Don't actually do that. You're nice, but have fun. Bye bye now.